Eventually, you will have to elevate and move on. Eventually, you will have to ascend and evolve. Eventually, Leparalak, the event will casually reveal itself later on. Yes. Eventually, it's just two words combined together, Leparalak. Either way, you will eventually get to a point in your life where you know that it's time to move. It's time to go forward. For instance, have you ever seen yourself in those moments, Leparalaka, where somebody in your life betrays you, sabotages you, or plays weaker in their own root center there, in your timeline, and you start noticing that this particular individual is not who they say they are? What do you do at that instance, Leparalaka? The best thing I would do, as I've been doing over the years, for me, strategically thinking, right? This is how I would do it. I would realize that my emotions are going to make me want to fix the situation. By fixing the situation, it means I'm still giving it energy. Regardless of the behavior, I'm still paying attention to it. Paying attention is energy, and I only have 24 hours each rotation of the earth. So I start thinking on a bigger scale. Like, you know what? Out of many countries, out of many continents, out of many planets, out of many galaxies and universes, I am deciding to pay attention to this nonsense you are revealing in my timeline. No, let me create a timeline where you don't actually exist. Yeah, a timeline where even my behaviors change. A timeline where I ascend so much you cannot reach. That's what many people do, especially you hypertensive individuals. That's what you mostly do, Leparalaka. You mostly connect to the parts of yourself that ascend you even further in your craft, in your skills, in your personality. Yes. Every time something happens, it turns out to make you money. Like PR tends to submit into your financial gains. In a prosperous way. Because of these things, you see yourself in that regard, that way. Now you are the one. So now in this next scenario, this particular individual is still there while you're seeking an avenue where they don't exist in your reality. What do you do, Leparalaka? When we truly look at it from that perspective, it means you're in the middle of things, right? You're in the sixth energy, right? You're in the middle of things there. You are noticing that your old self is still aware of the old individual who is not themselves around you in your previous timeline, but you're also building a new timeline where they don't exist. And you're also trying to give less energy and awareness to the old relationship you had with your past timeline. Yes, that's normally what happens, Leparalak. Everything in your reality is a timeline maintained by your repetitious behavior. You can behave like a president and eventually be one, because that's where you invest in your energy. You can behave, whatever you behave as long term solidifies your personality and character and destiny. It does, Leparalak. It does all these things eventually. So you want to know how to avoid or change or switch or shapeshift? That's just the recipe. You just realize that the way things are going in your current reality or your timeline, they are not to your benefit. You accept it. And then if it hurts you emotionally, makes you feel a little bit gruntled, then what you can do is forgive yourself for attaching yourself to one reality in this bigger place. It happens. That's the downside of being a human being. That's the downside of being in the physical state. You magnetize yourself so much that you relate too much with the outside timeline. That's why that behavior keeps on going in your mindset. Yes. So to shape shift, you have to be conscious of what the timeline actually is. What are you maintaining right now? What is so usual to you? For instance, if I decide to come on a specific time on this platform and post a video on a regular basis, that means I am setting a timeline where I need to keep this whole lifestyle of mine going with this particular platform. That means in order to maintain this type of lifestyle, I must maintain the behavior of posting at a certain time. You understand? But now I'm conscious of myself. I'm free-minded, right? I can switch and say, no, instead of posting anytime, messages catch me randomly. Why not post the moment they come? Even if it's midnight at 1:08 a.m. Things like this. I am checking the timeline to see this timeline I'm not attached to it. I can easily leave this timeline because it has no set behavior. You understand the parallel? This timeline has no set behavior. Simply because I post randomly. And that's what you do too, Le Parallel. You are a shapeshifter. You have shapeshifter energy, hence I'm mentioning it in this detail. That means the only people who will connect with this message are shapeshifters. Those who understand the depth of what I'm saying. The timeline doesn't benefit you, or you are seeking to explore a different timeline. So you visit yourself there. You start learning new skills that maintain the new timeline, and you start neglecting the old skills that maintain the old timeline. So now you're in the middle of things. Things are cutting off. Things are leaving you. Le Paralaga, you are ascending into the new timeline, the new reality, the new destiny. That means you are not attached because you have the free will to move forward differently. You are not easily predicted because of this behavior. You are an anomaly, Le Paralaga. You switch between. You are a multi-perplexed universal galactic crossword puzzle with no language. Yeah. Because people can see the movement, but the way it turns, nobody can predict that. And that's what's happening with your personality, chosen one. I'm thinking to myself in my physical journey before this grand awakening of mine, expressing it here. I'm thinking of something, Le Paralaga. I'm thinking that I used to speak like this for advertisements on radio and TVs. And now I get to speak on something else using the same instrument. I used to get on stage, rap or sing for money or for performances or however the deal was made at the time. And now I do those things to channel energy. Still the same skills, but redirected. Now that I think about it, because it's coming to me now, these things, I love learning myself in order to come up with my findings on camera, Le Paralaga. Everything that I talk about is my findings. 01:11 on the time, Le Paralaga, AM. This is a mastery number, Le Paralaga, a mastery number where you are aligned. You are a shapeshifter, Le Paralaga. That's why God trusts you with all these ideas. By God, I mean, that's why Spirit allows you to sense the incoming timelines. And you call it visions. You call it imaginations. When you are imagining, you are portal surfing. I like to call it portal surfing. I am going to different timelines, just checking them out. I'm not giving them behavior. I'm not doing anything. I'm just checking them out. I'm seeing, hey, there's an idea where this exists. Let me see what's happening. Oh, I'm done. Let me go here. And that's what sometimes people call it remote viewing too. It is the same, to be honest. But you need to be good at this. You need to be good at this, Le Paralaga, because it can get sticky. You can take the behaviors of the previous timeline you were viewing. You can view a timeline in imagination and somehow behave like the timeline in your physical reality. It's bothersome. That's the boring part about it. I've been writing about it. You can go to a timeline in your mind and come back with those codes still attached to you. That's why people need to cleanse. That's why you need to walk bare feet, so that the energy can still flow and not stay stuck to you. Now you see how important it is with the shape-shifting thing. Some people are so good at shape-shifting, they can disappear and appear in the same duality but at different spaces. You understand the parallel? Timeline surfing is both mental and physical. But the world is particularly formed by your mental. And your behavior finds the resources in it to maintain the personality that can reign in this destiny, this timeline. So right now in this timeline, 919 on the timer of the video. So right now, Le Paralaga, I'm here letting you know that you are a shapeshifter. You think like this. You can think multiple ideas at once. That's why your ADHD is so intense. That's why your bipolar is so intense. Things like this, your autism is so intense because you can drift to many. You see perspectives. Those perspectives are timelines. You are that powerful. Do you understand? Love that part about you because you are highly advanced. You came here ready-made for that. Show us what you got, Le Paralaga. Invent. Let us live. Let us fly.